Hello and welcome to another boring EV tow bar install, because every vehicle needs a trailer hitch. This is a 2021 Volkswagen ID4 super cool rear wheel drive, not the bogus all wheel drive garbage one. No Kion Hacapolitas, ready for winter. Anyway, this is a draw-tite, I think class 2, technically, trailer hitch. Actually, it's probably a class 1, but the thing's beefy, and we're going to throw it on here today. The process looks like it's going to be pretty simple. The gist of it will be, even though this got bent up in shipping just a little bit, we will remove the bumper cover via the fascia on the bottom, bunch of screws there, basically 3 in each wheel well, and then a pair here and here. After we get all that off, we will swing the left side up around the actual reinforcement piece for the bumper shock. Then we will lift up and fasten after removing the nuts on the studs basically for the existing crash support. Anyway, first step for me is going to be removing these up here. These are Torx T25s. And then I'm going to lift it up in the air and we will get to these, which I believe are also T25s. And then there's usually another one right up right there. It wouldn't surprise me actually if there's a fourth hiding back here, so we'll check that too. Usually right where the bumper piece meets the quarter panel of the vehicle. So we'll check all that out. There's going to be a ton of fasteners on the bottom, which I believe are all Torx T10. And yeah, let's give this a go. Okay, so we have 3 internal T25s, 1 on the bottom right here. Then you can just pull this by hand or use a trim tool. It's pretty easy. These little plastic clips pop right out. And then you can see 2 more T25s in there and a spider egg nest. Go ahead and remove all that and then do it to the other side. Child noises. And then we'll move to the bottom. Okay, we have both fender arch trims popped and the fasteners removed. Now on the bottom side, we have what looks to be a ton of more T25s. I actually have not seen another fastener yet that is not that size. So for sure, everything around the rear perimeter has to go. I don't think anything in front of that on the tray does though. So I'll zip those out and we will see. Aha, look in there, cool. I did find the 2 T10s. They're in there. Looks like just 2 though. I'll let you know if I find any more. So after you've backed out the plastic T10, pull gently with your fingers and the backing tab will pull into your hand. I'm gonna do a little more feel around here, see if I can find any other fasteners that might be hidden. But other than that, it'll simply be pulling fairly hard against this seam right here outward to get the whole bumper cover to disengage. So that's all it was. Just pull firmly, but not using excessive force. Starting at that bottom edge, lifting all the way up around the taillight, and then pull here. That blood was already there. 1 electrical harness plug right there. Disconnect that. Just a tab right there in the center of the screen. You push that down, pull it out. It's kind of nice how the entire bumper is in a modular harness. But here's the inside of an ID4 Pro, so not a garbage Pro S or whatever, all-wheel drive one. Bumper cover. Already has the nice hole for the receiver hitch, so all the more reason to do it. But I'm going to disconnect that, set the bumper aside, and we will swing the hitch in once those necessary fasteners are loosened. Okay, bumper cover aside. Take all 4 13s off of this side, and take the 2 inners and outer lower off on this side. Look at that radar. One on this side too. A lot of crap in this bumper. That must be an impact sensor, a yaw sensor. A lot going on. Anyway, do that. They are 13 millimeters. And we will swing the receiver on. Okay, so the process here is loosen all of them on this side, all of them except the top right on the passenger side. That gives you just enough room to pull the core out, slip the receiver hitch in, and I just have one of the original screws back in here. They do give you new, longer, hardened bolts. These have a torque spec of 20 foot-pounds, grade 9.8. I'm going to put a little thread locker on them. You don't have to. The instructions don't say to do it, but this thing will probably see some actual towing duty, so gonna zip that in. All right, there we are. All new hardware, 20 foot-pounds on the 3/8 torque wrench. Everything's looking good. So now we will start the arduous process of fishing this whole thing through the existing hole in the bumper. Hopefully it fits and doesn't require trimming. Looks like it'll be just fine. Of course, make sure to replace the electrical connector once the bumper cover goes back on, otherwise the car will absolutely freak. So let's get that done. Once the bumper cover's sitting on, start here, push it in on the tab, work your way around the taillight, then push down here. Other side, same thing. Better if you have a helper if you don't know what you're doing or you haven't done it before. This is pretty old chestnut for me, so I'll get this on there. Okay, so pro tip for getting it on, just kind of set it right here. It'll be at about this level on the receiver. Then push up with both hands here, up and away. That will snap this right in place over top. Everything looks like it's fitting just great.
I only wish I brought a rusty hitch to put in there.
All right, installation, obviously, reversive removal. So I'm gonna start at the bottom, work my way up, just to make sure everything fits perfectly. You will now be the proud owner of 7 new, looks like M8 by 1.5, something like that. Bolts, or screws technically. Anyway, let's get it back together. And it got dark out, but there we are. Pretty low profile. I do like the larger 2 1/4 or whatever style receiver. My Tesla's got that 1 1/4 and it's just not quite as beefy looking. Reflectors work.